a Misty Explosion gonna come out for the Clefairy. So this is what I wanted to accomplish the entire game. YouTube, today we are continuing to use the Misty Explosion Clefairy and a weakness policy Palkia team that we used in the last episode, and we're still on the hunt for getting a Misty Explosion off with the Palkia and doing some massive damage. But last time, if you didn't check out that video, highly recommend check it out. But starting out Dynamax with Clefairy and Amoonguss was definitely not the thing I'd expect from this team once, but twice. Make sure you check that video out. But if you do enjoy the videos, be sure to leave a like down below, leave a comment down below. It does help me out. Anyway, check out the details of the team and the creator down below in the description. But let's get started and play some games. Let's get some Misty Explosions. Incineroar, Fundus, Regigigas, Zacian, Kyogre, Whimsicott. All right, this is a team I would definitely want to bring I don't think I want to bring Shadow Rider. I think I'm definitely bringing Palkia here. I'm bringing Palkia plus probably the Amoonguss right here, and then I think I want Clefairy and Incineroar as the last Pokemon. Yes, I would want these. I think I'm pretty sure I would want these Pokemon right here because I'm trying to think of anything else that I really want to bring. Eliki doesn't really accomplish much against Tailwind stuff. Even with the Assault Vest, we would take a lot of damage right there. The Calyx Shadow Rider, not really in a super favorable spot, so I would pass on it because I don't know what you bring, and I don't know what kind of Whimsicott that is. If it's Trick Room Whimsicott, we're in a lot of trouble, I suppose. I will just figure out how it goes as we go along. Let's find out what my opponent is going to bring. But I'm hoping that we have some pretty good offensive tools, which we do have with the Palkia, and we can set up, I think, pretty strongly. We're going to see a Regieleki Thunderous lead. Okay. I don't mind this one against Palkia and Amoonguss. I like this position a lot. I wonder if this is just trying to get like a Screech Max Airstream combination off, but this works out heavily in my favor. Or it could have been Electro Whip, I guess, if the Calyx Shadow Rider did lead. But we are going to go for a Trick Room. We are going to go for a Rage Powder right here. We cannot risk Palkia getting knocked out. It's our only really good offensive Pokemon right here. I don't care if Amoonguss gets knocked out to an Electro or a Screech Airstream, which I think is the only way you can knock out Amoonguss in this position. But if you do go for it, then Clefairy comes in, I Dynamax, and then I have a really good time against my opponent's team. So I don't think I really mind that too much. We'll find out though, as I guess it could be a little bit tricky because we will be going down 4-2 immediately. However, or maybe 4-3. It depends on if I'm able to pick up an early knockout. But I'd imagine it's going to be Sash on the Eliki and... Oh, what? Rage Powder gonna come out. Electro gonna get fired off from the Eliki. That makes sense. What's the Thunderous going for? Are you going for Fly? We'll find out. Or is this some other tech move? Taunt into Amoonguss. Okay. So it has Taunt. But it's not Defiant. Yeah, it's not Defiant because if it was Defiant, it would have gone off earlier. Okay. I'm gonna go for a Spatial Rend into the Thunderous slot, and I think I'm just gonna Pollen Puff then my Palkia. Or should I just... I don't know. I feel like I should Earth Power the Eliki, because Eliki can probably just go on the offense here. I was really hoping that they picked up a knockout, but this is probably okay that I still have Amoonguss. Yeah, it's probably okay. I can go for a Max Quake into the Eliki slot, and I can go out in a Clef. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. Because Clef Misty Explosion can come out the next turn, and then Misty Explosion plus Max Geyser looks really strong in this upcoming position. If I'm able to bring the Eliki to Sash, and I think Eliki attacks here because it has a Sash. But we're going to see Eliki retreat. So somebody's taking a Max Quake that doesn't appreciate it. The Kyogre does not appreciate the Max Quake, so I'll take it. Setting up for the Kyogre is really nice here as well. Okay. And it doesn't matter if Thunderous taunts, but they set up the Rain, which is interesting. Are they Dynamaxing with the Thunderous? Because if they Dynamax with the Thunderous, that means that basically, I don't know, that's risking a Max Geyser from the Palkia, and Max Geyser might have just KO'd the Thunderous depending on my item, right? Because you brought up the Rain for yourself, so we'll see. Bring out the Dynamax on the Palkia. We're going to see a... They did Dynamax the Thunderous. Wow. Okay. This is really good for me. Like, 100% take this position. I love this position, actually. I absolutely love this position. So we're going to see the Thunderous Dynamax. And Palkia looks pretty good. I'm just going to say that Palkia looks pretty good in this position. The Thunderous is going to Dynamax here. We are going to get a Max Quake into the Kyogre right here. Nice. I could go for the... Now, what I could go for next turn is just Helping Hand Max, guys. I might knock out the Thunderous, but I would like to bring in a Moongus so I can start sporing other slots as well as going for Pollen Puff. But it looks like they max Lightning. Okay, so that's going to prevent my Spores. It's not that big of a deal, though, because I still like getting a Moongus in for the Pollen Puffs into Palkia immediately, because just healing up my Palkia seems better. And like the Kyogre is not really dishing out that much damage. It is a Life Orb variant. Yeah, I think you might have just went down to Max Geyser earlier. I don't know. But we are going to go for a Misty Explosion here and a Max Geyser into the Thunderous. If they go for Max Guard, this is okay too. The Kyogre is also under threat, so they're in an awkward spot, but we're going to see a Max Guard. Good play on their part, but Misty Explosion Clefairy, let's set up our end game right here with our Misty Explosion. Activate the policy on the Palkia. So, not bad damage into Kyogre, actually. That did a bit more than expected. All right. Is the Kyogre Thunder, though? That's something I am a little bit worried about, because Thunder would actually do a decent amount, I suppose. But I could Spore the Thunderous, and I can go for a Max Quake, and then next turn... Yeah, no, that's fine, actually. Origin Pulse is going to be fired off. Okay. I'm going to go out into a Moongus. I'm going to click the Spore into the Thunderous. We know it's a Life Orb set. I Quake the Kyogre, and I have a Special Defense increase. I have... Pollen Puff the next turn I can fire off as the last. Yeah, I just go for a Quake into the Kyogre slot and I go for a Spore. Yeah, that really works out. I just didn't want to take a big hit from Thunderous, but yeah, this absolutely works out. If they switch out Thunderous, that means their Dynamax is over, so I don't really mind that. And I don't think they're switching out Thunderous. I think they're just going on the offense right here. Unless they protect Kyogre, which is fair too. I don't really mind that either. Thunderous is going to Dynamax. Okay, good play on their part. Although I don't really think it changes much. Let's see. It's going to be the Zacian coming in. Okay. So Zacian is in. I do get another Max Quake into Kyogre. If Kyogre protects, actually, this is really ideal because Kyogre is way less threatening than the Eliki. Spore into what was the Thunderous. We do go for the Max Quake here into the Kyogre right here. It does pick up a knockout, so I don't... My Incineroar is looking pretty threatening to them in the late game as well. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Now I can Pollen Puff, and Pollen Puff, of course, really good here. I think I want to Earth Power. They're probably just going to double protect. Well, they double protect, it's awkward for them, right? Because then I just Rage Power the following turn. Eliki does come in. I have +2 special defense on my Palkia, and I do have +1 on my Moongus, so I should be pretty comfortable. I think I just Earth Power here, and I go for a Pollen Puff, and it's really safe here. Yeah. It's really safe. I should be able to tank attacks just fine with Palkia at this point. Unless the Eliki is some really strange set, like a choice specs on this team. But the Electro Up didn't indicate that it was the specs Eliki. Didn't look like it. I think this should be Focus Sash. But if you are specs Rising Voltage, I mean, it's not even that bad for me. I just Trick Room the next turn. And then I'm still in a really good spot at the end of the day. Yeah, because I think Fake Out in the Throat Chop probably KOs the Eliki from Max Attack Incineroar. Let's see. Position wise, pretty good, I think. Because as long as I deny Zacian a setup here, I think I'm good. Unless it's a sub Zacian, but hey, don't protect on this last turn of Trick Room. Oh, that's amazing for me. So I get the Pollen Puff off. I get the Earth Power into the Zacian. I think they really expected me to make a super aggressive play. Maybe they thought I was going to go Incineroar right there and target the Eliki, but yeah, that works out amazing for me. Electro Up going to be fired off, not even the Rising Voltage, so Palkia takes that attack with ease and looking pretty bad for them. I think Palkia just sweeps now. I just go for Rage Powder. I go for Trick Room. They can't stop the Trick Room because I do Rage Powder here with the Amoonguss, and they can't KO the Amoonguss and get the taunt off into the Palkia at the same time. So yeah, kind of the downfall in their team. They didn't even bring the Incineroar, so they didn't have ways to sell out with Fake Outs, and yeah, their team was just not really well equipped to deal with this Misty Explosion. So yeah, this is the last turn. This was the last turn Trick Room before, right? Yeah, Rain and Electric Terrain. So a Trick Room here, very safe. We go for a Rage Powder, and then we should seal up this game right here. Assuming we hit. We have to hit moves onto the Thunderous with Spatial Rain specifically, but otherwise we should be in a very comfortable spot. We're gonna see a Wild Charge come out this time. Okay, wait, you went for Electroweb instead of Wall Charging earlier? Wall Charge would have done a lot to my Palkia. I don't think it would have picked up a knockout, but Because I think it's Assault Vest Eliki at this oh, I guess it is Assault Vest Eliki at this point then, if it has Wall Charge Electro Web. Actually, I don't know, because they also run Electro Web on Sash variants too with Wall Charge if it's mixed. Okay, that works out in my favor. Electric Terrain disappears from the battlefield. I think this is over. I go for an Earth Power into the Eliki. I go for a Spore into the Thunderous, and yeah, if your Sash Eliki doesn't matter, yeah, they're gonna forfeit the game. They kind of realize that they can't do anything anymore. And ooh, okay, really strong position for us. I think again, what I really want to do, get that Clefairy, Misty Explosion, because Misty Explosion was actually pretty nice because Clefairy could have got knocked out pretty easily, I think, in the early parts of the game. It could have still stuck around, but the thing is, I liked having the Amoonguss in, because you saw how Amoonguss was just really annoying for my opponents to handle, because it was able to absorb basically any attack that wasn't like the Zacian hit, and Clefairy wasn't taking the Zacian hit either. But the fact that I was able to have a +2 as special attack stat on my Palkia means I could KO the Zacian with Earth Power without going for a helping hand, which is really important, because if I lose Clef, or if I need to follow me, I can't follow me and KO the Zacian at the same time without getting the weakness policy off. So being able to eliminate the Zacian where they made a really aggressive play, and yeah, it definitely did cost them a lot of momentum, and it just gave me so much. I think I didn't need it, because I'm pretty sure in the end game I won with Incineroar next to Palkia, because the position still applies that I just go for a Trick Room and a Rage Powder right there, and they can't stop me. But if they have sub on the Zacian, they could stall out some turns, and then it could get a little bit awkward. But they have sub, and they don't have play rough, so I don't think they could really touch the Palkia. They have to be like sub play rough specifically right there. But Misty Explosion, Clefairy, putting in some work. Palkia getting into free switch for Amoonguss, and it was really hard for my opponent to stop. Zekrom, Kyogre, Fairthorn, Whimsicott, Indeedee, Incineroar. Did I face this exact team earlier? I actually don't remember, but there is a Zekrom, which makes this kind of strange, I suppose. We do have an Amoonguss with Spore, which is pretty solid here. I would like to go for the Spores, because they don't exactly have the best way to stop it, unless if it's the same team I'm thinking of, it was Scarf Ogre and Taunt on the Whimsicott right here. Which I guess Taunt Whimsicott could stop me here. I think it's Amoonguss plus Palkia lead. I think, yeah, Amoonguss plus Palkia lead is pretty solid. And then I do want to bring the Shadow Rider this time. Yeah, I would like to bring the Shadow Rider, and I think Incineroar right here. It's really tough, I think, for me to actually get like Misty Explosion stuff off. And I don't think the Friend Guard is nearly as helpful in this game. I just don't really see, well, it could be, but I feel like Amoonguss provides more. Incineroar with the Intimidate, as well as like a fire type to help against the Fairthorn. Fake Out Pressure also is decent. It's not necessary, but it's decent. Let's see what they decide to lead here, though. It's going to be really important. Indeedee Zekrom. Okay. So Indeedee Zekrom leads versus Amoonguss plus my Palkia right here. I could just go for a Spore, I think, turn 1, and I think I just go for a... Let's see. Do I want to go for Dragon? Do I want to... I have like a lot of plays I could go for here. I'm not really too worried. Oh, they could go for a Max Lightning here. That's the thing. If they go for Max Lightning, that means they change the terrain. But I guess if they Max Lightning, then they don't KO the Amoonguss here, as well as expanding... because Expanding Force isn't Psychic Terrain anymore. So there are some benefits here. I could go for the Max Dragon. I am really tempted to go for the Max Dragon. I think I actually am going to go for the Max Dragon here. I just don't really see a reason not to. I'm going to go for Max Dragon. I'm going to go for the Spore attempt into the Indeedee. A Helping Hand Max Dragon. I don't think it knocks out the Palkia, but we're going to see a switch from my opponent. Fairthorn going to come in. Okay, good switch on their part. Let's see if it's Indeedee Protect. I wanted the Dynamax early. It's not necessary, though. I don't think I need my Dynamax to win this game, especially if I get some Quakes up. So I don't think this is too bad. It really depends on this Fairthorn set too, because the Fairthorn set's actually going to be really important right here. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Spore here into the Indeedee. I am going to go for a Max Dragon, the Fairthorn, and then afterward it gets a little bit strange. But here comes a Max Whirlwind into the Fairthorn. We do a decent damage to it. It's not like amazing damage, but it is still really good damage. Incineroar and Calyrex. Calyrex is definitely the Pokemon I do want to make sure that is safe here. We're going to see Expanding Force come out. Amoonguss and the Palkia are pretty safe here, and we go for the Spore into the Indeedee. Okay, really nice. I think I'm going to focus my efforts on Indeedee because Fairthorn's not really nearly as a threat, and I think I'm going to focus on going for the Nasty Plot setup with Calyrex. Because I think if I can get a Calyrex in with Nasty Plot, I'm in a really solid spot. So let's go for a Max Quake into the Entity slot. Let's go for a Calyrex switch. And then next turn, I really want to get that Nasty Plot because it is Fairforn. If its only moveset is like the Iron Defense Leech Seed set, which is pretty free for my Calyrex to handle, especially once we get some Max Quake boosts, then we'll be able to take the attacks just very comfortably. And yeah, we'll be able to obliterate the Fairforn. So a Max Quake is going to be fired off. It is going to target down their Entity. We do need to weaken the Entity. It is one of the annoyances for my Calyrex. I could even get my Sash back if I wanted through Draining Kiss, but I don't know if that's going to be my option here. Max Quake going to be set up. The Entity is fast asleep, and Leech Seed and Palkia. Yeah, Leech Seed and Palkia. Okay. So this is all good. This is all good. I just need some special defense increases on my Calyrex right now, and we're in a very, very strong situation right here. I do not know if Fairforn wants to protect here because double up into Fairforn could KO depending on like what kind of Calyrex I am. They aren't exactly sure of that, so they might protect a Scalp. So I am going to go for a Quake here, but I am Nasty Plotting here 100%. I do want a Nasty Plot here. A Nasty Plot just puts me in a really good position. They go for a Follow Me here. Okay, no Protect. Wonder if this is Leech Seed or this is Iron Defense. Either one works for me. I am going to be able to get a Nasty Plot set up with my Calyrex here. Okay. Really solid. Really, really solid. And then afterward, can I sweep under Trick Room? No. I was like, can I get Trick Room up to deal with the Kyogre? But I don't think that's necessary at all. We do get the huge amount to the Entity right here. And I think I just want Nasty Plot again. And I think I want to go into Amoonguss. And then Amoonguss just Pollen Puffs my Calyrex. Yeah, because they do Leech Seed my Calyrex here, which I am completely okay with. But Nasty Plot Calyrex seems pretty deadly right now. It looks really hard for my opponent to actually stop here, especially next to Amoonguss. And yeah, I am going to try to get the Amoonguss in, and I'm going to Nasty Plot here. Because I don't know if Entity wants me to pick up the knockout or not. I could see them just going for a raw Expanding Force, which is not going to KO my Amoonguss at the range it's at anyway. And then like Fairforn, I don't know what you're doing with Fairforn. I don't think you should risk the switch out, but I will see. I'm going to go out into my Incineroar. I'm going to go for the Nasty Plot in with the Calyrex, and then I think I'm going to go for the Draining Kiss KO finally into the Entity. It's a little bit greedy, but I think I need the greed because making sure I KO their Dynamax Pokemon with like a +5 I think is really nice. So we'll bring out the Amoonguss. We're going to see Follow Me again. Nice. Okay, this is really ideal, and I mean really ideal. A Nasty Plot going to be set up with my Calyrex, so now we are +4, and now we can go for I would definitely want to. Yeah, Body Press just gonna come out, not really doing any damage. Okay, perfect. And yeah, that's what I meant about like I didn't need my Dynamax to win this game. It's nice, but it's absolutely not necessary to win this game. Now I can go for a Pollen Puff and a Draining Kiss. Actually, I Spore here because I'm gonna get enough healing from the Draining Kiss from the Entity anyway. So yeah, actually, yeah, I could just Draining Kiss here. I Draining Kiss and I go for a Spore into this slot. If they protect Fairforn, it's okay, right? Because it doesn't change anything. I go for a Draining Kiss here into the Entity slot. I'm a +2 Calyrex. If they are Scarf Kyogre in the back, Water Spout's not going to KO because of my huge +2 special defense, assuming I don't get crit, of course. But that's just what we have to go by. We get a +5 Calyrex on deck here. And now my opponent has to choose. Zekrom is going down to, I think, a +5 Astral Barrage. Like, I don't know if the Zekrom can really live a +5 Astral Barrage, but Draining Kiss Calyrex is gonna pile through. If, like, the Entity was next to the Kyogre, then Helping Hand Water Spout could knock out the Calyrex. But now, making sure that the Draining Kiss KOs the Entity, I get health back, which is really nice. I got to cover for a potential Fairforn switch there because Fairforn wasn't doing anything. I think this just makes it so much easier. And now we go for a Rage Powder and a Astral Barrage here. And oh boy, just gotta get this Astral Barrage off. If we get the Astral Barrage off, we just win, I think. And we'll live a Water Spout from Scarf Ogre. And if they Dynamax, I Rage Powder to max Geyser away, which I think is really crucial here. We're gonna see a Water Spout gonna come out. All right, Calyrex. Come on. Nice. Okay, that should seal the game here because this is going to obliterate your team. A Astral Barrage +5 Calyrex is going to snowball through. Yep. And even if the Kyogre hanged on for some reason because of his high special defense, like it was doing no damage to Water Spout this time. And if they want to do damage, they have to Dynamax the low health Ogre and they're going to outspeed the Calyrex. So Yeah, now +6 Calyrex Shadow Rider. +6 Shadow Rider is a nightmare for a team that does not have a dark type, and their normal type was knocked out already thanks to the Calyrex. So you know what? We're gonna Pollen Puff our Calyrex. Might as well. And we're gonna go for an Astral Barrage. We already confirmed that the Scarf was on the Kyogre. And unless it was Quick Claw Zekrom, I mean, we're just gonna see this HP bar drop, I'm pretty sure. It's a +6 Calyrex Shadow Rider, Astral Barrage, single target, by the way. We're just nuking everything here. Maybe I should just Draining Kiss and Rage Powdered. Oh man, I'm mad. Oh, I should have checked the Draining Kiss KO the Zekrom. That would be funny. Like a Draining Kiss KO into Zekrom right there. Oh, but I'm getting too ahead of myself. I've done the damage that I needed. Goodbye, Zekrom, and Calyrex Shadow Rider getting a 4-0 sweep right there. And yeah, Nasty Plot Calyrex. It's underrated for sure, but of course it's really hard to set up with Incineroar, of course, in the format. A lot of bulky Pokemon, but don't sleep on it, because if you're only like really good switching is going to be the Incineroar, and you don't have many spread moves. Sash Calyrex can really, with Nasty Block, can really put on the pain against certain teams in a nice spot right there. And that's exactly what I was able to do. I found a position, like, yeah, since they brought in the Fairform, I wasn't really too worried about it. They Dynamaxed the Zekrom immediately. They couldn't KO. I got a policy set up with the Palkia, but because they went Fairform, I'm like, okay, they're going to use this position to stall out my max. Let me set up my Calyrex instead while they can't do anything to it. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, Calyrex was just able to sweep, thankfully. All I had to do was risk that one crit there on the Kyogre, but I think otherwise it just put me in such a strong spot that why wouldn't I take that risk at that point? Calyrex Shadow Rider, Kyogre, Thundurus, Regieleki, Weezing, Regigigas. One heck of a team. I do have quite... I actually have some pretty good options here. Specifically, Calyrex Shadow... Not Calyrex Shadow Rider. Palkia plus Amoonguss is actually really solid here. Yeah, I do like Palkia plus Amoonguss right here. It's really difficult for them to actually deal damage to these Pokemon other than... what else could they do? I guess maybe Clef is better, actually. Yeah, Clef is better technically. I do want to bring Clef. The reason is I want Friend Guard for with my Clefairy here, because unless they lead Weezing Regigigas, but it doesn't even stop my Trick Room route, so I don't even think this is like that big of a deal. I think I bring Amoonguss in the back, and then last Pokemon, I think it's like I just bring the Shadow Rider anyway, because even though Shadow Rider is not even like that good against my opponent's team, like it is, I guess, in the end game. It could be useful. I could also bring like a Regieleki Calyrex Shadow in my own, because the Sash Elec. Well, I don't want to play. I don't want to play a Dino. Okay, no, I would not want to go for that actually. I think endgame wise it's fine, but lead wise Eleki Calyrex Shadow is just not good, because then it's like Eleki speed ties, and that's like a really bad game plan here. I think I'm gonna bring the Incineroar here. Yeah, Incineroar, because I might get another fake out for another Trick Room later, and I feel like Palkia is the only damage dealing I really need against this team. With the Pollen Puff on Amoonguss, I think it should be fine. I don't know which they're leading though. They lead Regigigas plus Weezing. It's not that great for me, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I might also just Dynamax my Palkia immediately. They do lead Regigigas plus Weezing. Okay. So if they lead Regigigas plus Weezing, I am a-okay with this though. I'm leading the Palkia plus Clefairy, and I'm going to go for a Max Dragon into the Weezing slot turn 1, I think, and I'm just going to Protect. Yeah, I think that's probably my best play, because my Clefairy is not like super physically defensive. I'd imagine this is going to be a taunt into the Palkia slot alongside a attack from the Regigigas slot, so I might as well just go for Protect here, and I go for a Max Dragon to the Regigigas. I think that works out super well for me, and yeah, I think it should be okay for the long run. Let's see what they decide to go for though. I really do like this plan though, because the Max Dragon to Weezing is pretty safe here, and then I don't know if we're going to get a Misty Explosion setup. It definitely is possible, but it's definitely going to be a lot harder. I actually don't even know if I want to take the KO on Weezing 100% if this Max Dragon brings it down to a Focus Sash range, if it's Focus Sash, or if it's Shuck a Berry. It probably lives with a bit, because I could use this Weezing, because it's not really doing that much, just to like play around with the Regigigas, make sure I don't take too much damage, and then I can Pollen Puff that damage off with a Amoonguss later, which I think is really nice. So let's see if that's going to be the case though. We do see the Dynamax from the Gigas, and we are going to Dynamax our Palkia. We are going to take a lot of damage though if they did target down the Palkia slot, and definitely is an option here. I think you definitely taunt the Palkia slot. I don't know which one you're targeting with the Gigas. I could see it, you just target down the Palkia slot in case Clefairy goes for a really greedy protect, but we'll find out. Dynamax Palkia gonna come out. Now let's see what's gonna be the case here. Gonna be a protect from Clefairy, no protect from the Weezing, which makes sense. Let's see. It's gonna be a Max Quake gonna be fired off. Okay, so they're boosting up their special defense here. Oh wait, that means I always gotta follow me Trick Room off because that didn't KO my Clef. Okay, that's a little bit awkward. I mean, they do get the special defense increase, but that's really not that big of a deal for me. So I do get a Max Dragon off into the Weezing right here, which is nice. I do outspeed the Weezing. Good damage onto the Weezing slot. Excellent. Okay. So we do get a Max Dragon drop into the Regigigas as well as the Weezing, and we're going to see the taunt in the Clef. Okay, maybe they just didn't expect it to be a Trick Room set, which I guess that's fair. All right. And I'm going to go for a Dragon again. I'm going to go for a Dragon into the Gigas this time, I think. Because I want to keep Weezing. I want to keep the Gigas around. It's not really accomplishing much. I'm going to go into Amoonguss though, so I can go for Pollen Puffs. Because maybe I can bait them to go for the taunt in Amoonguss while I get the Pollen Puffs off and heal up the damage from this Regigigas. And then the Regigigas is just not doing anything. Weezing protects here, which is fine. I didn't know if they were going to Quake taunt or if they were going to do something else here, but that makes sense. We're going to see a Max Strike be fired off, which is cool. It's going to target down the Palkia slot. So Palkia taking quite a bit of damage, but it's not a KO. That's perfect. And now we go for a Max Dragon into the Regigigas slot once again. So now -2. I might go for a -3 because, like, again, the Weezing is really not accomplishing much here. Maybe I go for a Quake here. I could see myself going for the Quake for the special defense increase, so I take the attacks better because I am a little bit low with the Palkia. They're definitely taunting the Amoonguss here. I know that for a fact. What are you doing with the Gigas is my question. I want a Quake. I really want a Quake. No, I should Max Dragon though. I think I Max Dragon. I Pollen Puff here. The Palkia. Okay, let's see how this goes. Because I really don't care too much about the Weezing. This is probably Quake. I don't think Strike would KO. Like, I really don't think Quake Strike would KO. But we'll see. Lightning. Ooh, another way to play around. Okay. I take less damage with Palkia though than a Strike, which I'll gladly take, however. Yes, I could have. Whoa, are you taunting or are you going for Sludge Bomb double up? Sludge Bomb double up shouldn't KO here. The Gigas has taken a lot of HP. Okay, they did Sludge Bomb double up. Palkia takes that really well. A Poison, fantastic. A Max Dragon is going to be fired off into the Gigas. Wait, no, now I get Trick Room and Rage Powder up and they can't stop that. So I don't know what this position is for them, but they kind of put themselves in a really bad spot. Pollen Puff going to heal my Palkia so I get some HP back, and yeah, now I get the Trick Room barrage up and they can't really do anything to stop it right here. I just Rage Powder Trick Room and then I Pollen Puff if they taunt the following turn, and yeah, I have a pretty good Palkia that's boosted here. Unfortunately, I don't have special defense. I should have probably Quaked that one turn, but yeah, I mean, we just Trick Room here. And we Rage Powder. Even if it can Spore, it's not really that big of a problem, I think. If they bring out the Shadow Rider, the Hydro Pump is still going to do a lot. I mean, I guess the problem is with Shadow Rider, I do have an Incineroar, which is still pretty good here. And my Palkia probably lives one attack and KOs the other. I mean, they're just in a really awkward spot. Like, switches aren't exactly the best thing that this team can accomplish. The Gigas is really not doing anything here. We'll find out. Rage Powder from the Amoonguss, they're staying in, which is perfect because I can Pollen Puff up with my Palkia, which is excellent. Thunder Punch. Okay. I guess trying to double up the Palkia here. Unless they're taunting. Are they taunting? Okay, they finally taunt the Amoonguss. Perfect. Okay. I really don't care too much about the Regigigas though. We do get the Trick Room up and now we have turns to go for attacks. We're going to fire off... I want to fire off just an Earth Power here into the Weezing, and I think I'm just going to Pollen Puff my Palkia. I don't want to miss the attack on Weezing with Shucker Berry. That's fine. I think it lives a Spatial Rend thanks to the special defense increase from Max Quake earlier, but yeah, we're in a good spot now. We will Pollen Puff our Palkia, and I don't know if they were expecting Trick Room, but or if they weren't expecting Trick Room, but yeah, this ends up being a perfect position for me. We do get the Earth Power off. It is going to target the Weezing, which is going to consume a berry right here. Okay. And and taunt into the Amoonguss, or they were predicting the Clefairy swap there. Okay, a Thunder Punch gonna come out of Palkia, really just not doing any damage. And at this point, I mean, it's another Earth Power into Weezing. I took a lot less damage than I initially was anticipating. I think I'm just gonna Pollen Puff again. I'm gonna Pollen Puff again because then I think I'm gonna bring in Clef, and then I think I'm gonna go for Misty Explosion, because the rest of the back Pokemon I don't think are gonna have Protect, and that means I get a really solid position with like Misty Explosion, Palkia right there, and I'll keep my Amoonguss healthy for the remaining turns. Although Amoonguss's taunt might wear off, so I might Spore here coming up. I don't remember how many turns of Electric Terrain they have remaining, but yeah, Kyogre is gonna come in. It's not really doing too much though, and the Weezing, okay. Like even if the Gigas, like the Gigas just was not doing anything here. We get back a full health Palkia, so have I taken damage this game other than the Amoonguss? I don't think I have. Earth Power just going to come out into the Weezing, pick up the knock on the Weezing, and how many turns of Trick Room left? 2 more, right? Yep, 2 more. The abilities are finally going to get activated, so we do have the Drizzle active on the field, so the Kyogre could be a little bit of a threat. The Electric Terrain, it looks like it's still up for another turn. This should be the Shadow Rider coming in. Shadow Rider coming in is a little bit tricky, but we should be able to manage. I should be able to go for a... I wonder if Hydro Pump Pollen Puff KOs the Shadow Rider. I don't think that's worth it though. I think I just target down the Kyogre. In any case. Hydro Pump is really tempting though. I don't think it KOs though. I mean, it is Hydro Pump in the rain from Palkia and a Pollen Puff from Amoonguss, which isn't bad. I just gotta make sure. I think I just always Spatial Rend here. I think I Spatial Rend the Kyogre, and I think I switch out into Clef. Yeah, I think that's my play here, because I need the damage in a Kyogre specifically, and I feel like Amoonguss Incineroar can still win, assuming that we have one more turn of this Trick Room here. We go for the Spatial Rend here, and a Clefairy switch. The Spatial Rend is going to come out into the Kyogre. Does a decent amount, so Ice Beam going to be fired off. Okay. Into the Amoonguss. All right, that makes sense. An Astral Barrage, because like Electric Terrain is going to be expiring soon. Astral Barrage, we should be able to hang on comfortably. Yeah, okay, perfect. This last turn, you want to imagine Kyogre probably switches out here. Ice Beam is not really in a good position. I think I'm taking my bet with Spatial Rend here. Let's go for a Misty Explosion Spatial Rend right here. I don't see a reason not to go for it here. This could actually be really bad if the Calyx Shadow Rider isn't the choice spec set, but I think it is. We're actually going to see the hard swap from the Calyx into the Regigigas, which is okay. Wait, isn't this Kyogre Scarf on this team? So if you're locked into Ice Beam, I win the game with Incineroar anyway. A Misty Explosion going to come out for the Clefairy. So this is what I wanted to accomplish the entire game. If we KO the Gigas, that'd be really nice. Ooh, not enough. Okay. Clefairy goes down. We will get the weakness policy up, but unfortunately we're not taking a knockout into a Pokemon I would have liked. I really thought that the Kyogre was switching out, because they're usually choice locked in this team. If this is choice locked Kyogre, I think I win with Incineroar plus Amoonguss right here, but we'll see. The Regigigas goes down, and Ice Beam is going to be fired off from the Kyogre, and we'll probably take the knockout Palkia, but all right. Let's find out. Trick Room does return to normal. We are going Incineroar and Amoonguss right here. Big question. Are you actually a not choiced Kyogre on this kind of team, which usually always runs choice Scarf Kyogre usually, or choice specs? Sometimes. Because this would be expanding force into Amoonguss. I mean, there's also other lose cons for them. If I'm Sash Amoonguss, a fake out into the Kyogre and a Spore and a Calyx should always secure me to win right here. But yeah, we're gonna go for a Throat Chop into the Calyx slot, and we're gonna go for Protect. If this is actually if you aren't choice locked with either of your Pokemon, if you're not choice Scarf Kyogre, I just lose. Or at least choice in some fashion with Kyogre. If the Calyx has a Sash, I guess that's interesting here, because the Weezing was Shucka Berry, so we know that the Calyx does have the room for a Sash. I don't know if the Astral Barrage damage was specs. I want to say it is with the Friend Guard damage that we saw earlier. We'll see. Trick. So I get choice specs, okay. Ice Beam. Are you? I guess you're Specs Kyogre then, right? It has to be Specs Kyogre. You wouldn't make that play unless you're Specs Kyogre. So now I'm locked in with a Choice Specs Incineroar in this endgame. Okay. Okay. Actually, it's funny. I'm really glad I didn't bring Calyx Shadow Rider in the endgame, because if I had Calyx Shadow Rider in the endgame, it would have late came. If that was Scar Kyogre, it would have came down to a speed tie. But we go for a Throat Chop. We go for a Spore here. And I think we win, because the Kyogre should be Specs if that's the case, right? There's no way you lock yourself in an Ice Beam. Unless it's Modest Scarf. Wait, what? Is it? Oh, it's Modest Scarf Kyogre? I don't know about that one. Because you would just fire off Origin Pulses, right? Like, you wouldn't go for... Yeah, it has to be like... It has to be is like a Modest Choice Scarf that underspeeds the Calyx Shadow Rider. I don't know about that one. Opposing Shadow Riders look really tough otherwise, but I guess maybe Gigas and then Eliki does kind of help out with that, but... definitely an interesting one. Palkia was able to get into a position. Unfortunately, the Misty Explosion wasn't as big as I really wanted to be. We weren't able to get the right KO right there, but we were able to, I guess, maneuver against the Regigigas and Weezing in a pretty nice fashion. We were able to get a Zekrom up, which gave them a lot of trouble. And then our late game could have been a little bit shaky, but usually the items on the sets on those teams are usually pretty heavily in our favor for us to win the game, unless it's like, again, not Choice Kyogre. I think it's Scarf Modest Kyogre, which even I thought Ice Beam should do more, but then again, Amoonguss is a pretty tanky Pokemon right there. And that is the show. Misty Explosion Clefairy definitely did catch some players off guard, and it's just really cool. I really do think Misty Explosion is a really cool tech. It's not even really about the damage output. It's a pretty weak move in general for the most part, but the fact that you could really reposition, I think, in a lot of cases, and with the Palkia, it's just a really cool attack. We've seen it with the Hatterene team. Highly recommend checking out that video. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you to Luca for giving me the team. But if you do enjoy the videos, make sure you leave a like down below, leave a comment down below. As always, it does help out the video. And if you want to check out Luca and the details of the team, down below in the description. And make sure you check out the rest of my Series 12 content, where there's a lot of cool teams and a lot of fun Pokemon, like that Misty Explosion Hatterene team that I was talking about earlier. But that's going to be it for me. Have a great day, people. And until we bow again, I'll catch y'all later.